Hey everyone, welcome back to part 5 of the Breath of Fire 2 tutorial. In this part of the tutorial, I will be covering the solo Ryu section of the run through the Baba fight. If you like this guide, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to watch my runs or be alerted when more tutorial videos drop. Let's get started. After you arrive in Hometown for the Death Warp, head to the Ranger's hideout for dialogue. Leave once you get control of the party, usually denoted by your members walking on top of you. Once outside, just mash for the first dialogue option as this sends you to your bedroom faster to progress the story. Once you gain control of Ryu, leave the house. Head up along the right side of the house for a mini cutscene. Keep heading up and talk to this guy for the story trigger. Head back to your room and talk to Bo. Bo will have 2 dialogue decisions in this cutscene, and for both, the second option is faster. I would mash or turbo the shoulder buttons and then select the second option. Once you gain control again, leave the house and exit town from the bottom exit. You will be stopped by the guard, so mash through dialogue for the fastest option. It is important not to buffer down on this dialogue since there is a third option and you could select that if you buffer down. Now that you are on the overworld, menu. This menu will be used to refresh your smoke, but you can also swap back to your armor pieces. As a note, Bum's Clothes will allow you to possibly outspeed enemies. Head back to the ruins on foot. I will note that since you cannot go into Scramble in the solo party, you will be doing less damage than in the previous parts. Therefore, you will not be able to one-shot gong heads until you reach level 6. Your next smoke should be on this spot here. It is important to mention that as you are getting more comfortable with the run, you should keep track of your experience to know what fights you will need to take through this section. Ideally, you want to be level 6 before you start the next boss, otherwise it will be a slower and much more difficult fight. I will also mention that any fights you get with a lead-off are guaranteed escapes, in case you want to save time or flee. When you make it to the ruins, you will get about 1 minute's worth of dialogue. Getting control of Ryu, make your way back through Mount Fubi. Your next smoke tile will be near the start of Mount Fubi around here. After you exit on the right side, continue rightward towards the bridge. Refresh your smoke before crossing. The enemies on the other side of the bridge are shown on the screen. They are much more difficult than the previous enemies and pose significant risk to the run. When you are starting your runs, I would recommend killing any fight with a single enemy or 3 flies. Flies will die from 1 hit unless you minimum roll, but they hit hard and you might need to heal mid-fight. Any 2 enemy encounter is not worth taking since you will need to heal constantly and don't do nearly enough damage, so run from those encounters. You will have noticed that when you exit fights, a bush will appear on screen. These are hunting grounds that are used in casual play to attempt hunting an animal with bow for food. Food items work like purchasable heals, but unfortunately we do not have bow. Instead, we will use these bushes to refresh our encounter checks. Whenever you screen transition by moving to a different room or exiting a random encounter, you will have 4 steps of free movement without an encounter. This includes from the hunting bushes that spawn after you exit fights. If you see a bush in the path where you're walking and it is not too far out of the way, take advantage of the encounter check reset. Head upward as shown to this town, which is Corsair. Once you are in town, enter the first building on the left for the weapon shop. You will be using this shop to buy a few things and also perform a switch glitch. Start with buying the Hex Staff, Leotard Clothes, and the Bronze Helmet. Go into the sell menu and choose the 6 urchins but do not sell them. Then go into the switch menu. Switch the Bronze Helmet and the Ranger's Clothes. Then select the Ranger's Clothes again to do the switch glitch. Remember, to perform it, you will need to press A and B roughly at the same time. This will place a Moondrop weapon onto Nina since Ryu is in the first slot and Nina will be the first slot in the reserve party. Leave and enter the building to the right. In this item shop, you will purchase 45 Help BL and 9 Wisdom Fruit. Leave and head to the building behind the item shop. This is the pub. This is the first instance of day-night playing a part in the speedrun. If you are pretty quick between leaving Hometown and entering Corsair, you can enter before it is daytime. During nighttime, there will be people in the bar, and you can talk to this guy in the back to advance the story. If you get here during daytime, no one will be here. Luckily, you can talk to this guy behind the bar to sleep until nighttime. replenishing your HP at the cost of some time. After you have talked to this guy in the back of the bar, head to the church on the left and save your game. This will set your death warp point to this town so you can come back immediately after finishing the next dungeon. Now leave town at the left exit from the church. From Corsair, head north towards the woods on a cliff. You will need to refresh your smoke after you leave town. As a reminder, keep track if you still need to reach level 6. Now that you've gotten equipment from town, you should be able to handle 2 enemy encounters on the overworld. The Tag Woods is an even more dangerous area than Corsair Walk earlier. The enemies in this dungeon are shown on screen. Most of these fights are not worth taking, and I would advise running from all of them. The safest encounters you could take would be a single bugbear, Eaterman, single harpy, or a Dokkaden. Harpies will cast Cure when damaged, but can only cast it twice. Eaterman can cast Sleep with no penalty. Bugbears can either crit you for about 16 to 24 HP or miss you. Dokkaden can either defend, attack you for moderate damage, or cast Spark for 30 to 37 HP of damage. Speaking of escaping, you will have noticed at this point that escaping can be pretty unreliable. I have put an explanation on screen for the mechanics for escaping fights. Regarding the agility comparison, you will likely be slower than most enemies and have a low base chance for escape. Also, since this is super early in the run, you will likely have a negligible contribution for the luck bonus to your run chance. The only escape mechanic that you could benefit from is the bonus you get when you have less than 70% party HP, but this will also be a gamble if you fail the escape. With the HP bonus chance, you can assume you have a 40% escape chance. While in the woods, you will refresh your first smoke here. Make your way to this zip line. Once you are off the zip line, head right, but take a small detour here for a chest. This chest contains a gold and is a mandatory pickup for the run. I will explain this in a later part of the series, but make sure you grab this chest. Make your way back to the next zipline building. Refresh your second smoke as soon as you exit the second zipline. Make your way down and left. You will see this large man, and this will be Baba, the next boss. Make sure you are healed up before starting the fight. Baba is a straightforward fight. He has 169 HP and is slower than Ryu. The way this fight goes depends if you are level 5 or 6. For simplicity, I will explain the level 6 strategy. At level 6, Ryu will hit Baba for roughly 20 HP, so you will need to do 9 attacks. Crits count as 2 attacks. Baba has a chance after taking damage to counterattack. Baba can hit Ryu for 8 to 16 damage. As with the Roach fight, we will be setting up a death warp after this fight, so try to end the fight with low HP, but for first runs, survival is the best strategy. I advise healing if your HP goes below 28 to avoid dying to a counterattack. The level 5 strategy is essentially the same, but you will be healing a lot more and need more attacks to kill Baba. Baba also has a chance to drop an item called a stamina. If this drops, take note of it as it can be valuable later. This will conclude part 5 of the tutorial. Part 6 will cover the Colosseum section of the run through the August fight, and introduce the 3-party formation bonuses. Thank you for watching, and be on the lookout for the next video.